Muslims. That's why we said we really need to have this program for you and for me to take a break right here on Huda TV. Stay with us because we've got a lot coming up on Take a Break.
I say that the translation has been indirectly influenced with the Israelite narrative.
We haven't faced any problems in our preparations.
We can't call it the wise Hajj. In Egypt, you have a huge amount of initiative going on in terms of developing qualifications in different parts of the system.
Reading helps you gain knowledge, but saving the net doesn't help you at all.
They are all welcome to participate in the discussion and the debate about the development of qualifications.
What types of books our children do or should read?
Join me for further discussion. Focus point.
Huda, a light in every home.
It comes to you the truth and the attribute of the one who created you, that he's one and alone running this universe, that he doesn't become born, he doesn't die, he doesn't eat and then go to the bathroom. This is not God.
We have problems here. It doesn't make sense. Who was Jesus worshiping? Because it's recorded in the Gospels. Despite all of the other issues about the Gospels, we put those aside. We just say it's mentioned there that Jesus worshiped God.
One who protects us from hunger.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back. You're watching Ask Huda. A quick reminder of our telephone numbers 00202 38555 248 or 249. Or you can send us an email at ask, that's ask@huda.tv. And just a quick reminder for the viewers, please turn down the volume of your television set whilst asking the question, because it gives us a very serious feedback in the studio and we're not able to understand some of the questions. Jazakallah khair. Okay, we have Sister Amin from Egypt. Assalamu alaikum, sister, your life and ask her their questions, please.
Wa alaikum salam, brothers.
Go ahead.
One of the sisters in our community recently moved into a neighborhood and found that there were a couple of really ill-behaved boys who are kind of bullying the children and things like this. And then later found out that the parents of these boys were quite religious, and the mother was actually very involved in the community and teaching Quran in the local Quran memorizing place, and basically every day, you know, attending classes and things like this. Mm-hmm. And it kind of concerned me because I like to think of myself as being an active person, and I think that I'm being a qudwa for my children, and then I see that, you know, her results are that she has these really notorious young fellows running around in the street, and all the neighbors know, and no one feels safe from them. And I just feel like, where did she cross the line? Like, when is it? Okay. When are you doing too much? How can you make that balance?
How old are those boys, sister?
They look to be about 14 or 15. Actually, they actually bullied my children. So they look about 14 or 15.
Okay, they're teenagers.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we have Brother Mohammed from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Assalamu alaikum, brother. You're live on Ask Huda. Your questions, please. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
I have one question.
Go ahead.
My wife met a lady who is a revert since 12 years. Mm-hmm. She married a man who is a Christian.
Okay.
My wife told her to ask forgiveness and make the man accept Islam. Mm-hmm. Then have a wali, then perform nikah again.
Okay.
What do you advise for such a woman? She doesn't know how to read the Quran, she doesn't know how to read how to pray, everything.
So what exactly you want the advice about?
Yes.
Brother Muhammad, are you with us?
Sir.
Yes, what do you want us to advise about?
No, but you know, she is a revert since 12 years, Sheikh. But you know, she doesn't know how to perform salah, how to read Quran, and she married a Christian man. And
okay.
She is staying with him.
Okay, got it. Jazakallah khair. Okay, Brother Muhammad there from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Sister Khulud from the UAE, she says, I have a serious problem. It's backbiting. She says, I can't prevent myself from backbiting. The minute a situation comes up, I go ahead and start talking about people. How can I get rid of this bad habit?
Of course, I want to save the time, because in the last episode, I began by addressing قوله تعالى of Surah Qaf, verse number 18, ما يلفظ من قول إلا لديه رقيب عتيد. This is a fact that whatever we utter is being recorded, whether good or bad. Even if we say nonsense words, which do not necessarily mean anything, or vain talk, it will be recorded. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will judge it, whether it's good or bad. There is nothing in between. It's either good or bad. Accordingly, let me advise you some serious steps that you take or measures in order to avoid this dilemma and overcome this problem. For instance, if you make a vow that every time you commit a sin of backbiting, that you donate, I don't know where you're calling from, say, she said Emirates, you donate 100 dirham. So you said you do that very, very frequently. And that will tell you how many times every day that you were involved in backbiting. Also, the phone. The phone is a tool that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed us with. Unfortunately, it has been misused and abused by most of us. And on the phone, we do not really pay attention to how much time we spent and how much sins have we committed on the phone. So this phone, one have to be very, very careful with using this tool which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed us with, and use it only in whatever is beneficial. Let me remind you with this hadith. Why I suggested giving in a charity or donation 100 dirham or more based on your capacity for each and every time that you commit backbiting or you indulge in this kind of sin. Why? And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, when he asked his companions, do you know who is the bankrupt? And they said the bankrupt is the one who's very poor and broke, doesn't have neither a dirham nor a dinar. He said, no, the bankrupt is the one who comes on the day of judgment with mountains of good deeds, but they will vanish simply because there will be a line of people whom he had backbited and hurt their feeling, or addressed them with foolishness, or insulted or cursed. His tongue and his hands hurt people. So they would come on the day of judgment, and that is the day of recompense. That is the day of the ultimate justice. So in order to please them, they will keep taking from his good deeds. Remember what the Prophet ﷺ said in the beginning? They had mountains of good deeds. Those people have mountains of good deeds, but meanwhile they are bankrupt. Why? Because the people whom they have hurt in this dunya will start taking from their assets of good deeds until they vanish. And they will remain with no good deeds whatsoever. While there are still some people who have not taken the rights from them. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would allow them to cast from their bad deeds on those people who very recently were very rich with hasanat and good deeds. And they will be left with mountains of bad deeds in a state, and they will be cast in the fire of hell. So this will be a good monitor that you're asking me for a practical solution. That some people, it will work with them when they keep records. By every day, today I donated 1,000 dirham. That means I was involved in backbiting 10 times a day. And also by the end of the month, if I keep doing the same, then I need a whole salary to make up for to count how many times I was involved in backbiting. And this is not the expiation for the sin. The expiation for backbiting, number one, repentance. Number two, the person whom you have hurt or backbite in their absence, that you should defend them in a similar meeting or sitting in order to make up for what you've done, and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for forgiveness with sincere intention that you will not do it again. It is not some sort of addiction, sister. It's a matter of that you've got time in your hands. You don't know what to do with it. If you read Quran, plenty of Quran every day, and if you attend and listen to lectures on television, on the internet, and if you read books and educate yourself, you will not have time to waste over the phone. You will not have time to invite ladies over and chit-chat and waste hours after hours. Remember, it's not only you who's involved in backbiting. There is another party. This party could be one person or more. So if you facilitate that, then the sin will be doubled and tripled and multiplied. So you gotta be very, very careful. لا يؤمن أحدكم حتى يحب لأخيه ما يحب لنفسه. One of my colleagues, whenever we were in college, said to me a very interesting word. I can never forget this word. When he said that, I'm sure nobody talks bad about me. I said, how do you know that? He said, because I never speak ill of anybody else. So even though that's not really ideal, and this is not the case 100%, but it clicked in my mind that imagine that you're talking bad about others, that somebody else, somewhere else, is also talking bad about you and backbiting you. How do you feel about it? You cannot object to it. You cannot say, this is haram, yo. You cannot say, how dare you are, because you yourself are involved in the same. So please, and Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said to Mu'adh ibn Jabal, when he was surprised, and Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, control your tongue, and he grabbed hold of his own tongue. He said, Ya Rasulullah, would we be held accountable for what we say? أَوَ نُحَاسَبُ بِمَا نَقُولُ. So Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, ثَكِلَتْكَ أُمُّكَ يَا مُعَاذ وَهَلْ يَكُبُّ النَّاسَ فِي النَّارِ عَلَى وُجُوهِهِمْ إِلَّا حَصَائِدُ أَلْسِنَتِهِمْ. Is there anything that topples people on their faces in the fire of hell more than the harvest of what they say? The harvest of what they say. It's very dangerous, it is very risky, so try this practice and let's see how will it work out with you.
Okay, Jazakallah khair, Doctor. We have Brother Mohammed from Bahrain. He says they're performing Umrah for the first time, and he heard about visiting Medina and visiting the Prophet grave. He wants to know if it's part of the Umrah or someone should do it whilst they're going for Umrah.
Visiting Al-Medina and the prophetic masjid and obviously the grave of the Prophet ﷺ is not of the ceremonies of Hajj or Umrah. But I came all the way. Some people come from the States, some from China, from the Far East, from the Far West. They come all the way to perform Umrah. And there, they only have a couple of hours to go to Al-Medina to pray in the prophetic masjid, to pray in Masjid Quba, to visit the grave of the Prophet ﷺ, to enjoy giving the salam and peace and salutation to the Prophet ﷺ. Is it permissible? It is permissible and it is highly recommended, but it is not a part of Umrah or Hajj. Somebody comes and performs Umrah and Hajj and goes home without visiting Al-Medina, his Hajj and Umrah is complete. What some people rotate and circulate hadith that in which they say the Prophet ﷺ said, whoever performs Umrah and Hajj and does not visit me, that he has deserted me or whatever. This is not a hadith, this is fake. So Umrah and Hajj do not require visiting Al-Medina, but the Prophet ﷺ said, one single prayer in my masjid, in the prophetic masjid, is 1,000 times superior to praying anywhere else except in Al-Masjid Al-Haram. And whoever sends as-salah wa taslim, peace and salutation upon the Prophet ﷺ once, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bless him for it 10 times, and the Nabi ﷺ would reply back to him. Also Nabi ﷺ said, whoever performs wudu, perfect wudu in his house, then goes to Masjid Quba and prays 2 rak'ahs, Allah will give him the reward of performing a complete Umrah. So there are plenty of virtues and great benefits of visiting the city of the Prophet ﷺ and his mosque and his qabr ﷺ. He said, لا تشد رحال إلا إلى 3 مساجد. One should not assume a journey with an intention of act of worship or visiting or praying in any masjid on earth other than the 3 mosques or the 3 masajid. Al-Masjid Al-Haram in Mecca, the prophetic masjid in Medina, and Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa in Jerusalem. Is join hands and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to free Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa from the hands of the perpetrators and allow Muslims to pray in this sacred place. Ameen.
Ameen. We have Sister Khadija from the UAE. Assalamu alaikum, sister. You're live on Ask Huda. Your questions, please.
Yes, I have my question about Umrah. Just last week I asked, still not came answer. This is my second Umrah, but it's the second one I want to on behalf of my brother, and he passed away. And my second question is, if you don't want to keep money in the room, you can take in state of ihram in the masjid. Is it allowed or not?
Which masjid?
Like state of Umrah. Like money belt.
Okay.
And just very short on this, which alcohol is a benefit for the eyes. Can you tell me name?
Okay.
Sorry. And we won't go tomorrow.
Okay, I think we lost Sister Khadija there. Brother Ismail from Kenya. Assalamu alaikum, brother. You're live on Ask Huda. Your questions, please.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
How are you?
Alhamdulillah, Ismail. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Okay, I'm a new Muslim. I'm still learning from you.
Okay.
And I'd like to ask one question.
Okay.
When maybe I miss Salah, maybe in the evening, and then Huda TV is showing live broadcast from Mecca or Medina. Can I join with that?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Jazakallah khair. Brother Ismail there from Kenya.
What was his question?
He wants to know if he can join the prayer in Mecca and Medina.
No, Ismail, you can enjoy watching the prayer, but in order to join a congregational prayer, you have to be present with the Imam in the same place. Either can hear him or see him physically with him, but you cannot pray behind the Imam while he's praying in television. Especially, that is not the prayer time at your place. Even if it is consigning the same prayer time, it is not permissible.
Okay, Brother Abdullah from Qatar said they bought a shower curtain by accident. It has animals in it, and the shower curtain is used in the washroom, of course. He wants to know if this would prevent angels from visiting their home.
Obviously, the angels do not enter the bathroom anyway, but I would advise you to change it to a plain or a curtain that have pictures of nature or trees, and avoid hanging pictures of live creatures at all, whether at home or in the bathroom or anywhere else. Because the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam did take it off, and he tore it apart, and he removed it. He had a curtain that had a bird, and he banned his wives and his companions from hanging such thing in their houses. So we're more worthy to follow strictly the guidance of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Sister Huda wants to know how can a person be good in his religion? How can the person achieve this? What are some of the classes they need to take? And how can they go about studying the religion to be a better Muslim?
في سورة فاطر, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, إِنَّمَا يَخْشَى اللَّهَ مِنْ عِبَادِهِ الْعُلَمَاء. Those who fear Allah most are the scholars. The more you learn about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the more you love Him, the more you have an equilibrium between love and fear. The more you worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with khushu' and concentration. The more you know about haram and halal, obviously the more you avoid the haram and only seek the halal, which would please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why al-ilmu nur. And the very first word that was revealed in the Quran was iqra, read in the name of your Lord. And ashraful al-ulum, the most honorable sciences or knowledge, are those which are relating to the Quran, the science of the Quran. Anything that would allow you or permit you or help you to understand the Quran, tafsir, or a hadith which explains the Quran, or the science of tajweed, or the science of fara'id. And the fiqh is also driven from the Quran. So you begin by understanding the Quran and memorizing as much as you can after learning how to read it properly. Attending the hilaq in the masjid, the halqas, and the gatherings in the masjid, religious education is very, very important. It is very beneficial, even if you do not learn much, because this gathering will be blessed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In addition to, after a while, you will build up an asset of knowledge. For those who do not have an access to attend such classes in the masjid, nowadays, brothers and sisters, it's available in various languages. In English, there are hundreds of thousands of audio and video lectures. And also I would advise to begin with the Aqidah. Aqidah is the determining factor. There are many people who worship Allah and they think they're doing their best while their ibadah is in vain, because they don't know how to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala properly. When we say أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمد رسول الله, this is one phrase. It is called kalima because each and every word of it is inseparable from the entire phrase. That's number one. It consists of two pillars. The first pillar, that there is no one worthy of worship but Allah. And the second pillar is, and no one of human beings to be followed but Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And where else are we going to learn our aqidah? Only from the Quran and from the Sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Unfortunately, we've seen people living and dying in a state of shirk, day and night. People bowing down to dead people and asking and begging from them and seeking their help and invoking them instead of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they thought that they are Muslims and they are devout worshippers. So Aqidah, the science of the Quran, and learn the primaries of fiqh, which will enable you to know the halal and haram. And the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says in the sound hadith, من سلك طريقا يبتغي به علما سهل الله له به طريقا إلى الجنة. Whosoever seeks a path in order to learn or seek knowledge, Allah will facilitate for him as a result of that his way to paradise. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us all among the dwellers of heaven. Ameen.
Okay, Sister Khadija called us back and she wants a very special request from you. She's going for Umrah tomorrow. It's her second Umrah. She wants to know if she can do it on behalf of her brother.
As long as you perform your Hajj and Umrah before on behalf of yourself, you can definitely perform the manasik of Hajj and Umrah on behalf of anybody else, whether he's related to you or not. And include us in your dua, please.
Okay, Jazakallah khair, Doctor, for your time here on Ask Huda. Just before we leave you, quick reminder of our email, ask, that's ask@huda.tv, and don't forget you can support us at support@huda.tv, and don't forget to visit our website, www.huda.tv. Until next time, I leave you in Allah's care. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
If my love is attached to thee, then from sins I will be free. Each time my heart will beat, your name will resound with heat. Allah is my heart's speech, your mercy is what I beseech. Keep in my heart your remembrance, and in your deen allow me to advance. Help me in my quest, permit me to pass the ultimate test. Help me in my quest, permit me to pass the ultimate test. Help me in my quest, permit me to pass the ultimate test. Help me in my quest.